beautiful people, and welcome to the About That podcast with me, your host, your favorite geek psychologist, your favorite pop culture enthusiast, your favorite queen of the nerds, Dr. Vanessa Hintz. Today, lovely people, I am so excited to bring you the second part of my conversation with none other than Mr. Victor Dandridge Jr., aka the hardest working man in comics. We are continuing on with our discussion of the one, the only, the incomparable Miles Morales. So today's conversation will feature the dope expert analysis of the various Spider-Man movie franchises, their box office successes or lack thereof in some cases, and what that means for how we value these various spider people. So without further ado, please, my friends, enjoy. Tremendous segue. So that was a tremendous segue because for me too, again, you heard me say Spider-Man is not my favorite, though I have seen now every Spider-Man film ever made. Now I've seen everyone ever made. Some only once, don't ever need to watch them again. But I think it was interesting for me to try to put into perspective how this stacks up because we have seen now two trilogies, one double feature, or two double features now in terms of Spider-Man films, and I'm just gonna share these numbers with everyone, and then we're going to talk about it in terms of box office success. So these stats I looked up earlier today from Box Office Mojo, just to give us a perspective. So Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy that ran from 2002 to 2007, worldwide, all three of those films made about 2.5 B's, $2.5 billion. And that's early 2000s dollars, so somebody do that math. I'm not that good. In terms of how much money that would be now, I don't know. But Toby, 2.5 B's, right? Then came Andrew Garfield, his tall, statuesque self, as the Amazing Spider-Man. He's so cute. He's so cute. I did not like
that Spider-Man series.
You know, I didn't either. He was cute though.
Ooh, I thought I was gonna lose you on that one.
No, absolutely not. No, I think he's cute, and
Yes.
I think when he came back for No Way Home, I appreciated him.
That made me happy.
That was about it. But he's great. He has great hair. But his two Amazing Spider-Man films, 1.5 B's around there.
Interesting.
1.5. And that was mid 2000s money, so 2010s.
Now it is worth noting that in comparing the two, you can look at, yes, Tobey Maguire's has one more film than Andrew's, so that could attribute to the possibility of more money being made. But you also have to account for the fact that in Andrew's time, superhero movies had hit a higher platform, where not only was there the additional showcase of the MCU, but the DCEU had started as well. And so the it's like a three-way match of MCU movies, Warner Brothers movies, and Sony movies. Whereas with the Tobey Maguire's, that wasn't the case. It was really only Sony and Fox that were doing anything, and they were very small franchise units, not big ones.
Yes. And I think that again is a tremendous segue to talking about the Tom Holland Spider-Man films, because again, he was born firmly at the height of the MCU, right? And I think that when I think about the popularity of these films, particularly the last one, given that, were we really going to see him, or were we going to see everything else? Like, I don't know. I wasn't really going to see him, but for Tom Holland Spider-Man films, his three Spider-Man films totaled almost $4 billion worldwide for his three films, with the highest grossing being Spider-Man No Way Home at almost $2 billion. So half of that gross came from that last film alone, which again, is it because of Tom Holland? Or is it because it was a lot going on?
You know what? I said that jokingly to someone, and they kind of got mad at me, but I'm like, no, look at it. One of the things that you have to give credit for is that No Way Home brought in the other two franchises in major ways. Like, we're not just talking about like, oh, it's a passing cameo. One of the key bad guys is Norman Osborn from the Tobey Maguire stuff. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
the key bad guy, followed up with Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. So
Mm-hmm.
that Tobey Maguire showcase, none of this movie can happen without them. Like
Listen.
that's two movies in there that you can't do this movie without.
Mm-hmm.
To a lesser degree, yes, we had the Lizard, yes, we had Electro. Those are from the two Andrew Garfield movies, but they were so minor players in the scale of things that you can kind of go, not so much. But
Mm-hmm.
it still had an impact without question on what
Mm-hmm.
that third Tom Holland feature did, without question.
And y'all better stop acting like Willem Dafoe is not a national treasure. That man was like 73. I don't know how old he was, but he was
Still
like,
doing it.
I'm about to do it. What was that, 20 years later? After he
Yes.
made the first, like,
Yes.
what, you better stop it.
Yes. And still
Like,
terrifying. Still terrifying.
I was just about to say, face
Yeah.
still creepy at
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
ooh, see now I'm thinking about it, and now I'm like, I feel it in my chest a little bit. I'm thinking
I'm with
about
you.
it.
I'm with you.
And his laugh, like, oh gosh.
Oh, still gets me.
Okay, so now
Mhm.
back to Miles. So to put this into perspective,
Yes.
both Spider-Verse films that we have had thus far, the first in 2018, most
Mhm.
recent in 2023, those two films have totaled thus far 1.07 billion.
Wow.
So of all of the Spider-Man or movie like
Mhm.
series that we have, Into the Spider-Verse is, I would say, significantly. I didn't do the statistical analysis, but I would
Sure,
say my
sure.
eyes tell me significantly lower.
Right.
And so I understand why that might be,
Yeah.
because this is America. And I'm curious as to your thoughts about why that is.
Well, before we get into that, let's look at, because I know you have the numbers for it. How much did Into the Spider-Verse make versus Across the Spider-Verse? Because this is a very important thing to showcase.
Into the Spider-Verse, about 385 mil. Let's
Mhm.
just call it that. Across the Spider-Verse, 690 mil.
Okay. So it almost doubled
Yes.
what the first movie made. And what happened was time and experience of the character in the movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's so important because when this movie came out, not enough people knew who Miles Morales was. Yes, he had been around. Like we're talking, Miles came out in 2011 in the comics,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're talking 7 years of him being created as a character, being featured as an animated character in the Disney Plus, or not Disney Plus, but Disney action series.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't necessarily know him. If you weren't reading comics, you didn't know. If you weren't watching those shows, you didn't know who he was. So to a degree, the even the concept of creating this movie around Miles,
Mm-hmm.
hugely experimental, because there was
Mm-hmm.
no real reason for them to do it. I think that a part of it came from Sony exercising their right, because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. Like that's very important for people to understand. Sony paid dividends early on in the early aughts, late 90s to get Spider-Man. And with that, it is every iteration and connected character to Spider-Man that they have the opportunity to play with. So Venom, that's why that's a Sony picture.
Wow. Okay.
Like all these different things. So Sony was like, "Oh wait, we have opportunity to do XYZ and we can play around with all kinds of stuff. Oh, this is our toy." Through that though, they did technically water down the focus. Not only did you introduce Miles in this movie, you also introduced Spider Gwen, who has a smaller window of existence.
Mm-hmm.
You clearly put in another Peter Parker. You've got Spider Man Noir, who has another smaller window. You've got Penny B. Parker, who has another smaller window. And you've
Mm-hmm.
got Spider Ham, who has arguably the longest window outside of Peter B. Parker of having existed and being something that people would recognize.
Mm-hmm.
So while this is a Miles driven movie, he is one of the least known characters to be showcased here. So
Mm-hmm.
the drive for everyone to be like, "Oh my God, I got to go see this movie," was slight. And I know this is true because I actually saw the movie for the first time through a special early screening that
Mm-hmm.
I had gotten tickets for. And I given them to, I gave a bunch of tickets to people locally. Like they were like, "Hey, nobody's coming to see this thing." And I'm like, "I'm a local comic creator. How can I help?" And I think we ended up giving away like 32 tickets to the sneak screening of
Mhm.
like 400 people. And this was like within a week of this screening happening. So this is how like not on it people were, because the theater wasn't packed. It was
Mhm.
full, but like there were still open seats.
Mhm.
We saw it and walked out amazed. We had no idea what we were expecting. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't this. It was not this at all.
Mhm.
So anybody that was a fan ahead of it had no idea what to expect, and it was strictly out of word of mouth that it hit like it did. And one could argue that 300 million is not that big, but you also have to look at the details. It wasn't connected to any other major showcase of Spider-Man.
Mhm.
It was an animated movie, and it was coming out around Christmas time.
Mhm.
All of these things worked against it
Mhm.
because there were other big, movies that were coming out at that time. I want to say Star Wars was still part of the
Mhm.
coming out around Christmas time stuff. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't built into that. It was
Mhm.
absolutely showcased as something separate.
Mhm.
What was it? Venom had a sneak peek of Into the Spider Verse as part of like the promotion for it
I
because no
remember this.
one knew. Like
Mhm.
no one was looking for it because we
Mhm.
didn't know what it was. So that first movie is the success of the first movie is the box office of the second. That's how
Mhm.
you know the first one was great
Mhm.
because looking at the second movie, you go like twice as many people went to go see it.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
and twice as many people went to go see it in June of this year when we had what was it? In June alone, we had that movie dropped, Flash dropped, Indiana Jones dropped, the new Transformers dropped. So the
Yes.
level of competition that it has for fighting for dollars bigger,
Mhm.
way way bigger,
Mhm.
and still made twice as much money as that one.
Mhm. Mhm.
We did a great job, great job.
And what I love about the way you just oh god, what I love about the way you just broke that down is and this is something that you and I talk about often, right? Like we live in a society where dollars equate to value, like
Yes.
literally and figuratively, right? Or likes and clicks equate to value. And what you just, oh my God, just moved my soul because it's something that, again, we talk about it all the time, right? Like, how many listens do you get? I don't
Mhm.
know, but I know my shit was tight. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I feel like yes, like I'm here for this. Yes. And I understand that Hollywood is a machine, Hollywood is a business, and
Yes.
they're gonna do stuff that makes money. It's like, yes, and what you just said about how important and valuable this was, apart from the dollars, right? Like you explained the dollars and
Mhm.
how that word of mouth, all of those things, right? Like I remember this summer when this movie first came out and how everybody was responding. And I was like, damn, I was like trying to sit in the corner, like, don't ask me because I never seen
Don't
it.
say nothing.
But I was like, how people responded. Like literally, I remember seeing this is the greatest superhero movie
Yes.
ever, like
Yes.
period. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to me, more than anything, is
Mhm.
what led me to want to be a part of this, right? Like not, oh, this is a great like again with Black Panther, I think it was twofold. It was Black Panther, it was black as you know what I'm saying? There was
Yes, it
that.
was. Yes, it
And it's
was.
like people are talking about going to see it 10 times. So I'm like, what
Right.
the hell am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Whereas this, to me, people who loved it and people
Mhm.
who I respect, yourself included,
Mhm.
loved it. Like
Yes.
loved it. And so I think that what you just said, I just appreciate the way that you frame that because again, not only living in a capitalist society, not only whatever, like how we equate like if there was never another Spider-Verse movie after this, like there would be a revolt.
Yes. That's the. Oh my God.
They could probably make a case of like dollar wise why
Yes.
we should or shouldn't do it. But I think that what you just said, that intrinsic value, I
Mhm.
think is amazing and it's something that can't be understated.
No, very, very true. To put an even finer point on it, you know a movie is phenomenal when your competitors are saying that it is their favorite. So James Gunn, he did an article, I want to say either GQ or Esquire earlier this year. And
Okay,
James
James Gunn.
Gunn, I'm sorry.
I said, okay, James Gunn with the
I mean, I'm just saying,
GQ.
like he was
Oh,
doing
you
his thing.
just
He was doing his thing.
better.
He and for those that don't know, James Gunn is a writer director. Helmed the three Guardians of the Galaxy movies plus the Christmas special and I Am Groot series. is now the DC Comics head or co-head for Warner Brothers for their movies. So his place was either firmly with the MCU or Warner Brothers, not associated with Sony at all. And in giving the list of his top 5 superhero movies of all time, Into the Spider-Verse was his number 1.
Wow.
That's, to me, I'm like, that says so much, where this dude has every right to not pick you. Under any, you are literally competition on every level of his job, from who he used to work for to who he currently works for. And he goes, but that one is the best. Not even mine, that one. It is so on point, and he's not wrong. Like, I think when you have the conversation of best superhero movie of all time, we had different things. Oh, Batman Begins or The Dark Knight, any of those things. As soon as somebody goes Into the Spider-Verse, it is a non-conversation. You can't argue it. You can be like, well, I don't like that one as much as, but you can't say it's not the best. You can't. Like, as a writer myself, and I am a person who I live in the space of plot holes. I find them. It's not even that I look for them, but they speak to me. They speak to me, and I go, that part.
That didn't make no sense.
There is one plot hole in Into the Spider-Verse that I have brought up on Twitter, and the directors themselves were not able to answer me about it. And I think it's the one thing that I could be like, that's a flaw. And yet, this movie is still perfect. Still perfect. And that is an incredible experience. Like, that is outright, like, as a person, again, who lives for storytelling, if I can go, that's a big hole, and I don't care. I don't care. It's still perfect. Still perfect.
Well, now you have to share it with us.
What is the hole?
Yes.
Since you've seen it, I can bring this up.
Yes, I know now.
So Into the Spider-Verse, Gwen makes a statement that when the particle accelerator first happens, right, it knocked her into last week. That's what she says.
Yes.
Which is true. Like, when you watch it again, you see, like, she shows up and Miles meets her before he gets bit by the spider. So this whole thing happens and knocks her at a point in time where she is drawn to Miles for what is going to happen, but not for what has already happened. So she has existed in this world for a week. Where was she when Peter Parker, the actual Spider-Man of that universe, was fighting? She was there. She actually had powers, was Spider-Gwen, and could have intervened for Peter, but wasn't there. And there is no real reason as to why she wasn't. Like, we don't know. Like, for that week, where did she go? Who did she live with for that week? We don't know. We don't know.
What?
Yes. I'm weird that way, okay? Like, listen, there's a bunch of people that are listening to this podcast, watching us talking, they're like, I've never thought of that in 5 years. Right. I have never asked that question.
She didn't want to interrupt the canon events, even though that wasn't a part of it yet, but maybe she just was ahead of the game.
Whatever. Like, whatever sensibility she had drew her to Miles and not to Peter, because she knew that Peter was supposed to die. I don't know. We have no idea. Maybe it's something that they'll answer in the next movie, but that was the one plot hole. The one was, where was Gwen during that week? What is Gwen's week that she's not there to help Peter Parker, the one who dies? Only question. But other than that, everything perfect.
You're so right. Like, my opinion of it changes none. Now that you said that,
not a thing.
It is like, damn.
You're like, dang, that's a big old hole. Okay, and like,
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Keep moving. Good. I'm good. Yeah.
Y'all, Victor wasn't lying when he said he quick to point out a plot hole. Legit. Every time after I watch any movie, superhero related, popular or otherwise, I have to hit him up and be like, yo, this is what I thought. What you think? Because I know he gonna tell me what I missed. Particularly regarding the plot holes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you need to get you a Victor Dandridge Jr. in your life. And you need to make sure that you return for the conclusion of this amazing conversation about the Spider-Verse film series about the character of Miles Morales. Our third and final conversation is going to come with several sneaky preaches. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to talk about the value of Miles as a character and what he brings to the Spider-Verse that other Spider people do not. So please, be there or be square. And with that, I thank you for listening, and I wish you and your families safety, health, and joy. Until next time, good people.